Hello, and welcome to Once More, a podcast where two best pals rewatch, re-examine, and review our favorite movies, shows, and series. I'm Jen Katz.
And I'm Ryan something.
Have you been perfecting your brooding all these years?
Always. Unending.
So that you're just constantly brooding?
Yep.
Or working on your brooding?
Gotta work on my brooding.
Actively brooding? You're working on it?
Yeah.
Huh. It just,
takes time. It's like a meditation.
Oh, yes. So when you're meditating, you like...
sit with yourself and just...
brood.
Think of all the bad thoughts.
Is it bad thoughts when you're brooding?
Are they good thoughts when you're brooding? Do people brood about good thoughts?
Huh. I just always, when I think of brooding, I think of, Angel or like the Edward Cullens just sitting in a corner like, brooding.
Thinking great thoughts.
They're not
thinking happy thoughts. Yeah. No, I don't think that they're thinking good thoughts.
Well, you know what'll make me happy is if next year we can go to Hellmouth Con.
Yeah, so you mentioned that, and I did a little looking on their website.
Would you say you went on the...
Yes. I willowed my way to Hellmouth Con. Anyway, you had mentioned this the other day, and it looks kind of intriguing. I'm hoping perhaps if they have one next year, maybe we could go.
I'd love to.
This one is at Sunnydale High, which is kind of intriguing. It's got to be a big fan turnout for,
I'm sure,
for this, but it looks like maybe it's a mix of Buffy and Angel fans.
Yeah, it's all the Buffyverse. Yeah.
So I saw that Juliet Landau's there, or was. This was last week. We missed it. She plays the deadly Drusilla. Mercedes McNabb.
Harmony
and me. Julie Benz, but she doesn't come on until... Wait, no, that's Darla.
Yeah, it's Darla. Julie Benz is Darla.
Wow.
And then Claire Kramer, who plays Glory. Yeah.
Glory comes later. And then we have David Greenwald. You might be interested on him. He was the executive showrunner of Angel.
Robia Lamort? That's shocking.
Robia Lamort Scott.
Yeah, because she was born again after Buffy, and she kind of took a break from acting to focus on her Christianity.
Well, she's back at Hellmouth Con. Probably saving everyone.
Yes, as she should. We all need it. I did see that David Boreanaz is going to some kind of con, and he's kind of been like Sarah Michelle Gellar. David Boreanaz, who plays Angel, he's been a little bit Sarah Michelle Gellar about Comic-Cons. She doesn't really go. I think she's gone to like one, which was maybe the 15th anniversary of Buffy.
Okay, but
she does not do Comic-Cons or appearances like that. Neither does David Boreanaz, so he's going to be at one I saw coming up. Interesting.
Well, you know who does do appearances? Jerry Baker.
Come again?
She did the 90s proud by shaping the stylings of Buffy and the Scoobies as the hair department head for the entire first season of Buffy.
Where's
the great you had questions about some of the hair in the first season. Anyway, it seems like an interesting mix of folks who were involved in the Buffy production over the years. Takes place at Sunnydale High School.
Yeah.
There's lots of activities. I don't see anything going on at the Bronze. So
it's a shame.
Guess they couldn't find a warehouse space.
Couldn't find the warehouse district.
Anyway, it looks kind of fun.
No, I saw Slayerfest 98, who I follow on social media. I think we follow
Shout out Slayerfest 98.
Yes, Ian loved the pod. And his posts made it look so fun. Like all the cosplay.
Yeah.
We've got to go next year.
Who would you go as if you went in cosplay?
I mean, I think like the obvious choice is the Buffster.
Really? Why?
But maybe I'd go as Spike. But Spike, wait a second. What if it's Spike, but he's like a Civil War veteran? And so I could talk in that accent. But it's Spike. No, this is going nowhere.
Is that a spoiler alert? Do we get Spike as a Civil War veteran?
No, because he's from England. But I'm just talking about the darling, dearest Drusilla.
He's still working on his accent. Folks.
It's been 3 months since I felt the cool fingertips of your touch.
Well, should we get into the episode as much as you're into that accent?
I do declare we should.
Heavens to Betsy.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today we'll be discussing the 7th episode of season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Lie to Me. This was written and directed by Joss Whedon, and co-writers Rob Des Hotel, Dean Batali, and Marty Nixon.
Marty Noxon.
I'm sorry, Marty Noxon.
She's going to be, like, I think we've talked about Marty. She's going to be a big part of Buffy moving forward. Men?
This episode aired on November 3rd, 1997.
A few weeks before my 7th birthday.
Okay, so they have Yas listed as, this episode is written by Joss Whedon. They have Rob and they have Dean, both credited as executive story editors.
Okay.
And they have Marty listed as a staff writer.
She's great. I think I mentioned, her Twitter bio for the longest time was, I ruined Buffy and I'll ruin you too. Or I'll ruin season 6 of Buffy. I mean, people have a lot of thoughts on Marty Noxon.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Marty.
I think she's
Come
great.
over anytime.
So, well, this episode, we're switching things up because the Google synopses have been kind of one note, barely a sentence.
Oh, Johnny, one note.
We went back to our good pal Gemini. And
Gemini's not perfect.
No, they are not.
But we're teaching them.
We are. They'll learn our ways. And hopefully they'll be kind to us when the robots take over. Okay.
Too late.
Do I read this in Spike's Civil War accent? Or
I think you should,
In Lie to Me, a familiar face from Buffy's past arrives in Sunnydale, stirring up trouble. This old friend seems interested in the town's dark side, leading Buffy to suspect something isn't quite right. Meanwhile, Angel grapples with a dangerous presence in Sunnydale and tries to keep Buffy safe, all while navigating a web of secrets. All right, I can't promise I won't slip into that accent, but this is a good time for accents for me because we have this episode where Spike is trying to figure it out. We just watched episode 2 of House of the Dragon, so we're talking about the northern accents, the Starks and everyone up there. So
and Bridgerton.
And Bridgerton. It's great accent time for someone like me who likes to speak in an accent that's not my own for fun. Anywho.
Okay.
So
this episode is going to be about a friend that comes to town.
A friend, Billy Fordham.
An old pal, as they say.
Have you recently experienced an old pal coming to town with brain cancer who wants to be turned into a vampire?
Not since last year, no.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of a mess, huh?
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. I had a nickel. So, unfortunately, we no longer have our beloved Rupert Giles reading In Every Generation There Is a Slayer. But we do have our beloved Ryan Something, who is fully prepared. So, Mr. Something, are you prepared to lead us into the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
I mean, cut print. That's it.
Or she is the Slayer.
You're going to start doing it in different ways each time.
Different ways, yeah.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. Give it a little jazz number.
Bob Fosse over here. Jen Fosse.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get Giles coming back in another episode doing this. If not, we have you, and we're the better for it.
It's here, so if you want to hear it, just tune in.
Just tune in. Okay, so we start this episode in a, fair to say, a creepy playground. This doesn't look like anything good's going to happen here.
I immediately had PTSD when I saw this creepy fucking kid playing on the playground at night.
I
couldn't do it. I was like, no, if this is going to be a creepy kid,
you don't like a creepy kid.
I'm out.
Were you like, not another goddamn chosen one, anointed one?
And then he's like, oh, mom's always late. Okay, Mom might need a life check because it is dark as fuck outside.
It's not like...
And he's at school. He's at the school playground.
We're assuming.
Well, Buffy's standing on the roof of the school.
Is it the school? See, I couldn't figure out. Is that where the master went down the library?
Looks.
But why
like
is there a playground at the high school? What is happening? Who is going to make us the map of Sunnydale?
Maybe it's the playground at the cemetery, sponsored by the Vamp League.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we need to have something for the younger vamps.
The kids.
We care about our community.
Yeah.
We want to take a bite out of boredom.
Yeah. And this mom just drops the kid off at the cemetery
She's
playground.
like, oh, this is where the high school kids that I don't know take you around town for a few hours and we'll just pick you up whenever.
This kid.
So yeah, he's on a metal, what are those things called? Merry-go-round. And
I hate those.
Yeah, that's what gave me PTSD because we grew up in Texas where it gets super hot. Burn your skin on those things growing up.
You will burn your skin and you will get so dizzy.
So sick. I threw up on one once for sure.
Yeah, I totally have.
Ugh.
I don't like them.
I don't know. No.
Hurts my head just looking at that thing.
Yeah, the scene was just like, it gave me the sensory, ugh.
But also it's a look back at how playgrounds used to be set up where
so
they
unsafe.
were metal everything. You had a metal jungle gym, you had a metal swing set, and you had this metal merry-go-round.
Do you remember the metal slides that you would get stuck on?
Talk about burning yourself.
Like,
yeah. I think there's probably a spot on the back of my legs that has no hair because it was just forever singed as a child.
We all came out of the 80s, 90s without any trauma. We're fine.
Yeah. Give us a sticker. We survived the 90s.
So this, like you said, this little boy's like, come on, Mom.
We survived the century.
Sorry. No, he's like, come on, Mom. She's always late. I'm like, yeah, well, ma'am, what do you, there's so many questions.
Mom's got a date.
And then
probably at the ice cream shop.
Oh yeah, maybe she's getting the ice cream at the parlor.
At the Bronze.
And I'm like, little boy, you better get out of here. Cause then Drusilla slinks up.
She is so creepy.
She is super duper creepy. Okay, yeah. The Drusilla shows up in her white dress and she's pale, the dark hair, and she's asking him if he's lost. And I'm like, my note is, little boy, you just need to run. Stop talking. Go. And Drusilla's doing her thing. She's like, my mommy used to sing me. Yeah, she used to sing me to sleep at night. And you could tell that boy is kind of like
stranger danger.
Yeah, like, well, I'm not supposed to talk to people. And Julia says, well, I'm not a person.
No, she's not.
And she's about to get this little kid. We're about to see
technicality.
Yeah, right. And then Angel's here, though. He steps in.
This kid has a guardian angel.
Oh, see what you did there. And he says to the little boy, run home. And then there's this little moment here.
Which he could have run home at any moment, but he's like waiting on his mom. Sorry.
No. You're right. There's legit. This is one of the things, we'll get to it at the end with my steak ratings. And I enjoy, you heard me. I'm laughing out loud at a lot of this episode. Yeah. But some of this stuff, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And I get it. It's Sunnydale. Shit doesn't make sense. I love, this is going to get into like fashion stuff already. I love Drusilla's nails. They're painted black with white tips. And headcanon, Spike paints her nails. I think it's Spike.
I love that.
Yeah. Or they coerce nail techs to come in and then eat them. So she looks at Angel and she goes, my angel. And he says, hello, Drusilla.
Yeah, so they know each other.
There's some history here.
Yeah, which we'll get into in the spoiler alerts.
Yeah, we sure.
At the end of this episode.
Hang on. And he divulges it at some point, but it made me, I want to go back and I didn't check. So we know that Angel knows Spike, but we didn't know that there was anything between Angel and Drusilla until this moment. So you're kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And there's some tension. I mean, he's like, you guys need to take Spike and leave. And she goes, oh, what? You'll hurt me. And the way she says it, you're like,
yeah, no, it's everything she says. Everything that comes out of her mouth.
Yeah. And
has some sort of double entendre or is like child speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much, they're setting the tone for there being a relationship between Angel and Drusilla of some kind without outright saying it. He again explains at the end what happened, but I mean, vampires. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying not to spoil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get some history.
So we get some history. And then we cut to Buffy, who's on top of the roof of maybe Sunnydale High School. We're not sure.
She's on the roof.
She's on the roof and she sees Angel and Drusilla talking, and Drusilla's
leaning in very closely.
So Buffy sees them talking, and Drusilla is like up in Angel's space, and she's kind of like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah, no, she's getting in his face.
Looks like she's about to kiss him.
It does. And if you're Buffy standing on the rooftop looking down at these two, you can't hear what they're saying, but you can see her almost on her tiptoes, kind of like, reaching up toward his mouth as she's talking to him. And it could look very intimate.
Yeah. So Buffy, is 16, 17. So of course.
Oh, yeah.
She's wearing her heart on her sleeve with this.
My heart immediately sank for her because the last couple of episodes, she and Angel have ended on pretty good terms.
Yeah.
They've been in a really good place. They've had these great little moments where he's walked her home, and they've finally been better at communicating with one another about how they're feeling, about what they're thinking. And for Buffy to see that, I can imagine she's probably just spiraling back like,
for sure,
there must be something going on here. And then later when she talks to him, it's like, oh, no. What'd you do last night? Nothing.
Stayed in red.
Drink tea. No, you didn't.
You didn't.
You were out last night saving a kid, which you could have admitted to.
Yeah.
Saved a kid in the playground from
certain death.
From Drusilla.
Yeah.
Who's Drusilla? She's an old vampire that I used to know. I'll tell you the story later.
Yeah. Communication. And again,
problem solved.
She's got the excuse of being a teenager. Homeboy, you're 200 something years old.
Communicate.
And Angel tells Drusilla, this can't go on, Drew. It's got to end. And Drusilla says, oh no, my love. It's only just the beginning or whatever. And you're like, oh, shit. So credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credits. And we are back at Sunnydale High School with Jenny C.
Jennifer Calendar's back.
Miss Calendar is coming down the staircase with Giles, and she is really pumped about their date tonight.
They're going on a little date, and it's a surprise.
It's a surprise, which Giles cannot.
He's not
comprehend.
No, you could tell he's like a little flustery about it. He's uncomfortable.
What should I wear? What time? She's like, hey,
I got it handled. See you at 7:30. And then Giles says, I put myself in your hands. Wow.
What was her response?
That sounds like fun. Suckfest. I mean,
that does sound like fun. Good for them.
I like them. They have great chemistry here. Yeah. They're so excited, and they're planning the date. And then Buffy shows up, and he tells her he's been researching their friend Spike, and Buffy seems sad. He's like, you look very glum. What's going on? And he tells her to take the night off. Maybe you'll see Angel or something. And she goes, maybe. Yeah.
It's like, okay, something's wrong here.
Something is wrong here.
Yeah, something's amiss. And also just communicate. Be like, hey, I went out last night. I saw Angel talking to some vampire. I didn't know who she was. And it hurt my feelings.
Yeah. That's your father figure for all intents. I keep saying all intents and purposes. He's her father figure. I mean, she can't talk to Joyce about Angel because
Joyce is busy at the art gallery, and
those taxes aren't going to file themselves.
Out shopping for a sweater dress.
Yeah, she's going to look great in it too.
She's going to look fire.
But Pookie
getting her hair done.
Yeah, she's got to have the 90s mom perm thing.
Yeah.
She looks great. But Giles is somebody who knows everything. Like, even if she talks to her mom about Angel, it's based off of lies. Angel's a college student and this and that. Giles knows the whole situation.
Knows the history. And he literally has a book on Angel.
Oh, yeah.
The or Watcher's a book that Diary. Has a chapter on Angel.
Yes. Okay. So we cut to the classroom, and Buffy and Willow are passing notes back and forth.
Love it.
And this whole episode was like, man, this is just Ryan's Willow love letter, because Willow is so great in this episode. Mm-hmm. She's got great lines. Allison Hannigan gets to do a lot of fun acting. And they're writing notes. They're 16-year-old girls. And she's like, what did she look like? And Buffy writes back, she was
dark hair, dark dress.
Dark hair.
Or no, dark
hair, old dress.
Old dress.
Pretty. And then meanwhile, Cordelia is comparing herself to Marie Antoinette. It's so good. She says,
and how much they're alike.
Yeah. She's like, I don't see why everyone's picking on Marie Antoinette. I can so relate to her. She worked really hard to look that good, and people just don't appreciate that kind of effort. And then
Charisma Carpenter.
Oh gosh, Charisma Carpenter is so good. She says
this is the only scene with her,
which is not such a shame. Bummer. But she says something like, "I know the peasants were all no." She says, "I know all the peasants were depressed." And Xander goes, "You mean oppressed?"
That's great.
She's like, "Whatever. They were cranky.
They were both."
She's like, Marie Antoinette cared about them. She was going to let them have Kate. Cordelia. And Charisma Carpenter, I feel like this is a Charisma Carpenter love podcast. I love her as Cordelia. She's amazing. Great. She's great. And we don't get nearly as much as we should have her in this episode. But anyway, yeah. So we cut to the hallway and it's Buffy, Willow, and Xander. And, he's like, what's going on? And Buffy says, nothing. And Willow goes, Buffy and Angel are having problems or whatever. And Xander says,
hey, it's me. If Angel's doing something wrong, I want to know because it gives me a happy.
I'm sick. I need help.
Is he saying that it gives him a hard on?
That's
like he gets hard.
It gives me a happy. That's what I think.
Right.
I'm just going to click this one too.
He needs industrial strength therapy.
Yeah, he's taking some sort of pleasure in the downfall of this relationship. That's not very cool as a friend.
No, he's a shitty friend. And personally, I think Angel in general just gives him a happy.
That's probably where it's coming from.
Xander, be you, boo. Celebrate Pride Month. Just love Angel and get over yourself with it because it's getting really annoying. Yeah. He's not a good friend at all. Like a good friend would not take pleasure in their friend's relationship not going well.
Nope.
Even as a joke.
Nope. And
I know they're supposed to be teenagers, but it's just hard to watch. And I never want to hear the phrase, it gives me a happy ever again. No. So then we have someone who just shows up. You're going to add a button.
Just
so a new character shows up and says, hey, Summers.
Ford.
Who is this?
Who is it?
Ford, her giant 5th grade crush.
William Ford.
Billy Fordham.
Bill.
Our good pal Bill. So he and Buffy went to school together at Henry in LA. So this guy, Ford, who has an earring in a terrible orange sweater vest.
This guy.
This is my fashion day for sure.
Everything's got on this episode.
It's not good. And he transferred from Henry to LA, and he and Buffy obviously know each other. She says, again, she had a big crush on him, but
she was in 5th grade. He was in 6th grade, and she was just too young for him.
Yeah. She said she was so devastated. She used to go home and listen to the Divinals. I touch myself. This scene made me laugh.
They all kind of give each other the side eye. She's like, well, I didn't know what it meant at the time.
I made a note. I love Ford's little earring. I hate his sweater vest and his jeans. This is not, I like his earring. His little jaunty earring.
Yeah, the earring's fine. It's the sweater vest that kills me. Short sleeve sweater vest. I mean, this is something that your dad or grandpa was wearing to golf in the 80s and 90s, and he's got it on with a
t-shirt. It's weird.
I don't remember wearing stuff like this. I know that like there were girls that wore like sweater vests in the 90s, kind of a Blossom-esque
Blossom
vibe.
Yeah.
But I didn't do my.
I feel like when we would go to church in the 90s, which was Christmas and Easter.
Last time Jenny went to church.
I know, they've kicked me out.
It burned in.
You did. I burned down a church. Instead of burning down a gym, I burned down a church. Yeah. So I remember vaguely like my male cousins, like a church outfit would be a long button up with a sweater vest over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there. I've worn them for sure.
I do get my fingers on the Xander button. He actually, I like his outfit. He's got kind of it's like a soccer, what you might wear for a soccer jersey. It's that red shiny material. It's got the collar like that. He looks great. He has a better haircut, as you pointed out.
He does. His hair's cut.
Yeah.
It's kind of slicked back. He's got this red jersey on, which red's a good color for him.
Red is a very good color for him. Yeah.
And I noticed when he was sitting in the seat across from Cordelia, I was like, wow, Xander actually looks kind of sharp.
He looks great.
Even his little athletic gear.
Yeah. And then Buffy and Ford get up to go. I think she's taking him to the guidance counselor or something.
Yeah, she grabs his arm.
Yeah. And then Xander makes the comment, doesn't she know any fat guys?
I'm sick. I need help.
Yeah, I mean, he's just continuing to be jealous of everyone in Buffy's life.
He can't accept that they're friends. She loves him as a friend. And he needs to stop being a dick about it. And then Willow, here she goes. There's like a beat and she goes, oh, that's what that song is about.
Loved it.
She's so good. So we go to the Bronze, and Ford and Xander and Willow are playing pool at the Bronze. The Bronze has pool tables. So we've got a stage, dance floor, coffee bar,
Pool table,
billiards, a little catwalk upstairs where you can hang out. It's just it's expanding.
Vampire alley in the back.
Vamp alley where everybody's getting vamped. And Buffy shows up and she's like, hey guys, whatever. And Willow's like, Ford was just telling us about the
the beauty pageant that she was in.
The ninth grade beauty pageant.
And the swimsuit portion of the beauty pageant. And I'm like, what
rough
in the Joss Whedon are we talking about here? He's bragging about it to her friends.
Yep.
Then he's like, well, I know her deepest, darkest secrets. And Xander is full of the quips this episode. What's he say?
Want to bet?
Yeah. He's good.
He's good. And then Buffy...
Turns out he does.
Yeah, right. Buffy's like, I'm going to go get a drink. Be right back.
Who's at the bar?
It's Angel.
Excuse me. Who's at the vending station, whatever you call it. I don't know.
It's Angel.
The concession stand.
It's basically a concession stand. Angel's there with a cup. What is he drinking? What is Angel drinking?
A red Solo cup. I want to know what's in that.
Is it
blood? It just for looks?
It's
gotta be just for looks.
I mean, we've established that. Oh no, have we established? No, we haven't established that vampires, they don't need to eat, but
he had blood in his refrigerator.
Yes, that's right.
Season 1,
there was no other food.
Blood.
Yes,
he's got to survive.
Yeah.
Where's he getting his blood?
The hospital.
The blood bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think, Angel? Does he have a latte that maybe he takes to the bathroom and he just swipes it out for blood?
It's true blood.
Okay. So Angel and Buffy are chit-chatting and she's like, what'd you do last night? Anything exciting? Or no, he says like nothing.
And he lies to her.
Lies to her face.
Lie to me.
He
did.
He said, I stayed in, read. What do you think Angel's reading? What's on his TBR pile?
Interview with a Vampire.
You think he's like really digging into that?
Sure. If I were a vampire, okay.
Been
around for 254
what would you be
years.
Reading?
254 years. And there is a bestseller by Anne Rice that's been released. And the title is Interview with a Vampire.
You're on.
And you just read the book jacket or you're reading the beginning of the first chapter. I'm in.
Love it.
Sign me up. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Great book.
Be a good vamp read. No vamps included, but just the title.
Yeah.
Seems a little broody and moody for Angel.
Yeah, he'd be reading
what else?
Some really broody stuff.
This was before Twilight, so it couldn't be Twilight.
No. Wait, Angel lies to her face.
He lies.
And then
what'd you do last night? Nothing. I stayed in and read.
And she's like, bro,
just come out with it.
And she should have right then said, hey,
also,
I know I'm going to dispense with this. I was on the roof of whatever building. I saw you with a woman. Yes. Who was she? I would like to know. But she just...
Survey says that was a lie.
Ding. So she packs up and they go... Not packs up, sorry. She goes back over to the gang playing pool.
She retreats.
Yeah, and Angel follows her. She
doesn't want to stay.
Yeah. And Ford's like, hey, you didn't get a soda?
Guess you're not thirsty after all. Yuck.
They introduce him to Angel and he goes, wow, cold hands. Xander.
Also correct.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Something like that. And I'm like, oh, are you mad that someone else is touching your boyfriend's hands? Yeah. But Willow's so kind. She's like, hey, Angel, do you want to play? Willow's shirt is fucking terrible right here, though.
It's like a bunch of Frankensteins, like all screen printed together.
And it's like red and it's red. Every color. No. And Xander says, once more with tension. It's great.
It's going to be our next podcast.
Cuts to Xander and Willow. And Willow says, well, Angel, we could still play. Cuts back to Angel. He's gone. And Willow says, see, you did the thing where he's just gone.
Would you say that he ghosted them?
Hey, gabagool. So we go to Vamp Alley and Ford and Buffy are walking.
She forgot her purse.
Yeah, she forgot her purse. So because she hears a scuffle up ahead and she tells Ford, hey, Ford, go back in the bronze. I left my purse. Run, run, run. She runs down the alleyway. He stops and follows her, which is kind of an interesting choice. We're like, what are you doing? He sees a young woman run past him. He turns the corner and Buffy's kicking this vampire's butt, stakes him. And then Ford's like, what's going on? Buffy knows he just saw everything, right? But she's like, there was a cat and another cat and another cat. Cats.
And he says, hold on to your hats, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're the Slayer.
Yeah. She's like, what?
I know you're, excuse me?
Yeah.
I know you're the Slayer.
Record
Who the
scratch.
fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy?
It's not who he says he is, that's for sure.
Well, we're going to find out. And then we cut to Willow's room and she's in her jammies with her baseball tee and her slippers and she's on the phone with Buffy. And Buffy's like, at her house, he said he knows. Didn't you get any more information? How does he know? Did you realize that he never explains? Nobody asks him, hey, how do you know Buffy is the Slayer?
No, he tells them there is a moment in the show, and I can't remember which scene where it takes place. It might be the scene in the alley where he says that he's known since after the incident in Los Angeles.
Did he?
Yes.
You're right. Okay. Well, I think
I don't remember which scene it is, but he does address, maybe it was the scene with Spike or something, but he does address it. And he says that he's known since what happened in Sunnydale. Now, how he knows, I don't know.
LA.
Or excuse me, in LA. Yeah, since she burned down the gym.
Yeah, but that's what I would want to know. Like, how do you know?
Right. Who told you?
Who told you? You don't just sit around thinking, my friend burned down the gym. She must be a vampire slayer.
Gym burned down. Slayer.
Ah,
The Slayer.
by God, I've got it.
By Jove, she's got it.
We cut back to Ford. He's walking through the warehouse district. He goes into this
Back to the alley.
He goes into this building.
Creepy door. And there is literally some guy
Welding
with a blowtorch. And there's
fine.
this grungy music playing. And he's walking downstairs into this bunker, evidently.
It looks like they're in
Repurposed.
Berlin.
Yes.
They're at some kind of rave.
It does look like a fun club in Berlin.
And they show people and they're kind of dressed in like goth attire-esque. Like, okay.
And
well,
a couple of them are dressed in Halloween spirit costumes.
This schmuck who we learn is Marvin, but his name is now Diego. He looks like a weasel. He's got the little.
It's Diego now.
It's Diego.
Shut up. Marvin.
Shut
up, Marv.
He's a little weasel. He's asking for it. He's like, how'd it go?
He's a rat boy.
But not a hot rat boy.
No.
Like
he's literally in a blue sequined
that's some
vamp cape calling himself Diego.
where did
pig.
Cordelia get her costume? Was it Party Town?
Oh,
he got this
Ethan Rain's place.
Yeah. That's what these fools should have done. They should have bought vampire costumes at
They couldn't.
Ethan's.
It was shut down. Ethan's hit
Dang.
the road. Old Ripper let him have it.
His
Ripped him a new
ex-boyfriend
one.
kicked him out of town.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Fuck. Wow.
Did.
Wow.
Go on, get.
Once more contains adult content.
He did. Told him, go on, get it.
Go on. Get your ass out of here.
Go on. Okay.
Okay, so
we're down in the club.
And Diego's in his costume.
We meet Diego, Marv, and we meet this other gal. What's her name?
Chanterelle.
Is that her real name?
Don't know. We don't know. She looks great. And she walks up and they're like saying, true believers only. What are they doing? So, okay, yeah. Chanterelle comes up and Ford, they want us to note this. He takes out a pill bottle. He pops a pill. And you're like, what's he doing? Okay, what's going on? And then there's a scene from a movie playing on TV.
What was the movie?
It was a 1973 vampire made for TV movie starring Jack Palance. How do we figure out how to say that?
Palance?
No, because that's how I said it. That wasn't incorrect. It's Jack Palance.
He was a huge actor.
Back
in the day.
Yeah. So Ford is he saying the lines or is he lip syncing them?
Yeah, he's lip syncing them.
So, I mean, we've got these kids that are dressed up like vamps.
Yeah.
We've got a vampire movie playing in the background. And then before we cut to the next scene, Diego and Ford and Chanterelle are all planning. And Ford then says a couple more days and we'll get to do the 2 things every American teen should have the chance to do.
Die young, stay pretty.
So what's going to happen here? What are they trying to do?
I don't know. That's my next tattoo.
Your first tattoo, you mean? Die young.
You don't know that.
Oh, Monsieur. Wow. So we cut to Willow's room. Willow's room. She's got a visitor.
Willow does have a visitor. She doesn't have very many visitors to her room outside of Buffy.
We don't think so. No.
There's a little rap.
She's got a great room. She's got a door to the outside.
She got an upstairs room with a balcony.
Is it a balcony?
It's French doors going outstairs.
I thought it was like to the
little
out
balcony
garden area. But you're right. I think it is upstairs. Yeah. And it's Angel with terrible makeup. The makeup on Angel this episode is bad.
I don't know if it's the makeup or the lighting.
I think it's both.
Okay.
But who knows? His lips are so red.
He looks like a baby. No, he looks so young. This makeup does not make him look like 254-year-old Angel.
No.
It makes him look like almost like a teenager. And he looks very young.
Yeah.
With this natural light on this vamp face.
Oof. I love it. They're like kind of staring at each other and he's like, I can't come in unless you invite me in. She's like, oh, you are invited in.
She has a full head of makeup on.
She's got the whole geesh, like full face. She's ready to go to the bronze, basically.
She's hoping someone's going to ask her out.
She's hoping. And she hides her bra, which really made me laugh. She's got her bra on her bed. She's like,
I'm not supposed to have boys in my room.
He says, I promise to behave myself. I'm like, guys.
Sir, you don't have to make any promises.
Guys.
Although she is young, you probably should stick.
Yeah, probably. And you're dating her best friend, so maybe don't. But this is when he says that, he needs her help. And she's like, what do you need? He's like, I need you to look someone up for me. She's like, okay. She gets on her computer. It's like, what's the name? And he says, Billy Fordham. I love Willow. She's basically like, I'm going to say something and you're probably not going to like it. But I mean, are you jealous? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't get jealous. Then he's like, well, I've spent my years honing my brooding skills. And basically goes into like,
love it.
Yes, vampires can get jealous and I am jealous, but also
he's just got a bad feeling.
He's got a bad feeling about this guy. And Willow's like, okay, I'll help. And he's like, but we can't tell Buffy. She's like, what? Like, let's not tell her until we know something. And she's fully hacking the school records.
Well, she has full access.
And she figures out that there's not any records for Billy Fordham at the school yet, which is weird because you think with transfers, there would be transcripts, immunization records,
red flag,
something. And then we hear Mrs. Rosenberg, Willow, are you still awake? Willow goes, Ack, you got to get out of here. Allison Hannigan nails it in this episode. She's really so funny. Yeah. Love her.
Cut to the next day.
Yeah, next day it's Sunnydale High School.
Here comes Buffy and Billy and Xander. Or I guess it's just Buffy and Billy coming in the door, and Willow's coming in that hall, and she's like, wow. She's like, super jumpy.
So jumpy.
She's very jumpy. She doesn't like keeping secrets from Buffy. You can tell that.
Yes.
But she also knows that there might be something awry with Mr. Ford.
Yes. And
so she doesn't really know how to like play it cool. And Buffy can tell. She's like,
are you okay?
Are you drinking caffeine again? I thought we talked about it. She's like, yep, makes me really jumpy. Gotta go.
Allison Hannigan's laugh is so funny. She's like, ha!
I want that as a button.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Next episode will be a button. And the whole scene is just great. And Billy's like, or Ford, is like, is she all right? And Buffy's kind of like, yeah, she's fine. And then we cut to Giles coming up to Buffy and says,
Giles is bumbly and jumpy too.
I'm telling you what.
He's got a date.
He says, Miss Calendar and I are going somewhere tonight, and she's given me the number of her beepy thing in case you need. Buffy's like, go have fun. Like, we got it.
How many of them have beepers?
Well, we know Ford does because his beeper alarm goes off when he's in the bunker later.
His timer stopwatch goes off.
I mean, Buffy says in the first season, if the apocalypse comes, beep me.
So we think she has one, or at least Joyce does.
I'm sure Cordelia has a beeper and a cell phone.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know. Giles doesn't have one, obviously.
No, Miss Calendar does.
We're sharing beepers.
Standard issue from the Techno-Pagans.
Yes. Every Technopagan gets one.
Yeah.
And we go to the school. Now it's night. Okay.
Sorry, it just dawned on me. What you said.
Me?
Sharing her beeper.
Oh my God.
Giles.
Gotta go. It's been fun, folks. Okay.
Press 1 for more fun. Okay.
Beep. So Buffy and Ford are walking outside of the high school now, and she's like, and here ends the grand tour. It's fully night now.
Whoa.
Oh.
Well, we're still back on the Giles and Buffy conversation.
Back it up. What do you got?
Okay, so they're going to go on a date,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got to make sure that Buffy's got contact with him in case something goes wrong. And she's like, hey, it's okay. He knows.
Oh, that's right.
And Giles is like, what? She goes, he knows I'm the Slayer.
Yeah.
And Giles pulls her aside and says, I'm just making sure that you're not betraying your secret identity to impress boys.
Well, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
I don't think, I
can't imagine being Giles. Like, what is happening?
He's like, you're right. Because when he says, she's given me the number of her beepy thing in case you need help with your homework.
Right.
Which is also, again,
wink, wink, nod, nod.
No one's concerned that the librarian's giving out a beeper number to a student. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's cool.
He does. And somebody's pointing it out like, hey, he should have asked, okay, if you didn't tell him, how does he know? Like,
how does he know?
This could be important information.
He's like, okay then. Well,
cheerio.
I'd want to, if I'm the watcher, I want everyone who knows that Buffy's a Slayer and how they know and why.
Exactly.
And what team are you on? This kid just got to school.
New kid in town.
Red alert. Hello.
Wow. It doesn't matter that he knew Buffy before. It's you guys, you have literally lived through all kinds of shit at this point.
Right.
Be a little more smart when it comes to like, ooh, new person in town knows the Slayer's secret identity. Must be fine. Sure.
Nothing to see here.
No. God damn it. Damn it, Giles.
Anyway, so Giles is very caught up in his date with Miss Calendar and just dismisses it and moves on.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's also giving Buffy a little bit of rope, a little bit of space, a little trust.
Trust is important.
Yeah.
However, again,
she can't learn a lesson until she makes a mistake.
Unfortunately, sometimes a mistake like this gets people killed. So,
stay tuned.
Any hoodles. Yeah. So now we go outside. I don't know why I said any hoodles.
Love that.
I don't.
It's a new phrase.
No, it's not. Anywho.
Any hoodles.
God damn it. Okay. So Buffy and Ford are walking outside the high school now at night. And she basically gives the line of, and now this is the end of the grand tour.
They just got to school. It was daytime when they walked in the door.
I can't.
It's a long tour.
And they see two vamps. One of these vamps has like some 90s era Playboy bunny. This vamp's hair is beautiful. It's bleach blonde.
Oh.
It's so flat ironed and like
who was she?
moves. It's beautiful hair. She looks great. And they see the vamps. And Buffy says a weird line. She's like, or Ford says, were those vampires? Buffy says, yeah. And they're running into the school. And she's like, must be the weather. What? Are vampires more active when the weather is colder?
I don't know.
Because we just had Halloween. So let's say it's November. Ford was wearing a sweater vest. Must be a bit of a chill in the air. Chill of an early fall, if you will. And vampires are out.
George Strait reference.
And I'll be drinking blood again. Okay.
Take it.
I don't know anymore.
Any hoodle.
So they do a little bit of fighty kick.
Yeah.
Buffy goes after the male vampire. Ford pins the other one down.
Yeah, Buffy throws the gal down. And while she's on the ground, I guess.
She goes after the other one. Ford gets on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, you're going to tell me everything I need to know or I'm going to kill you. And then Buffy goes back.
She could have vamped him in an instant.
Listen. Again, yeah, here we go. So Buffy comes back and she's like, where'd the other one go? And he said, oh, oh, she got a, or no, he says, I staked her, I dusted her. And he does the little cough.
Buffy's not buying it, but she buys it.
You can tell
She's
suspicious. There's like a moment of, huh.
Should I be impressed? Should I be concerned?
Did he really do this? Yeah.
Takes him at his word.
Yep. And
he lies to her.
He lies. Tell me lies. Tell me
lies.
Ah, little country music, country western.
You don't want to hurt me.
You didn't slay the vampire. And we go to Angel, Xander, and Willow, which I like this little trio.
I think
they're great.
This is great.
Yeah.
These three working together.
It's awesome.
It's great. So they go to the Sunset Club.
Yes.
That's the official name of the underground bunker with the group of Vamp fans.
Vamp fans. Yeah. Vamp groupies.
Vamp groupies.
Diego's hanging out in there.
Vampire fan club. Old Marty.
So they get into the Sunset Club.
I love the Sunset Club.
I think it's cool.
I think it's a great name for a vampire, like kind of catch-all. Like,
yeah,
it would be a great name for a vampire club, but it's not. So these kids are like, hey, what sort of club's going to attract vampires?
The Sunset Club.
Sunset Club.
I love it.
Sounds like a strip club.
Wow, it does.
Could be.
Could be. Who knows?
Or a photography club.
Sure.
Cut all.
One-stop shop.
Cut the last 15 minutes, Jen.
Okay. This made me laugh because they're like, coming to Sunset Club and Angel's on it. He said, man, this guy's leaving no paper trail. There's no records. This is incriminating. And Xander says, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Dead Boy on this one. And Angel says, could you not call me that? And I'm like, you guys are so cute. Just arguing like an old married couple.
We are. It gives them a happy.
Good Lord.
So they go in and they're walking around and Xander says we stick out like sore thumbs and Willow does this whole thing. Oh, I'm sorry. But before Willow gets into her bit, Angel said, let's look around. Like, you guys go here. I'm going to go there. And Xander says, yeah, sure. Bossy the cow. I'm like, he's not.
Is that a joke that falls flat? Is that like a pun on like Bessie the cow?
Maybe.
Like old Bessie.
Maybe it's a
milk cow.
I don't know.
Bossy. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah.
I just was like, Xander wants to kiss Angel. That's all I took out of that.
Cool.
And then Willow's like, yeah, but do they really stick out? Do sore thumbs really stick out? Have you ever seen a thumb and gone, wow, that baby is sore? Xander says, you have too many thoughts, which is something I think people think about me. You have too many thoughts.
That was very relatable when I heard him say that.
I know.
Like,
I too have too many thoughts.
Basically my last therapy session summarized.
So what I'm getting is you have too many thoughts.
Yes. Great. Thanks. Okay.
So we see the female from earlier when she's talking to Diego and Ford. Her name is Chanterelle. And she's like, are you guys here to like be blessed? They haven't outright said it yet, what they're trying to do, but they're, she's going on talking about the lonely ones. She's like, don't be ashamed. It's cool that you're into it. Like, we're open to everybody. And, she calls the vampires the lonely ones. And Angel's like all but rolling his eyes. He's like, oh, here we go. And he calls her a fool. Yeah. She's like, we don't have to be so aggressive about it. And she flounces off. But Angel's like, they think they know vampires.
Yeah, no, they're kids.
They're kids, yeah. And he says, what does he say? Yeah, he's like, these are children making up some sort of bedtime story, telling themselves about friendly vampires.
Right.
These people don't know anything about vampires, what they are, how they live, how they dress. And this made me laugh because it cuts to some guy at the Sunset Club walking in front of Angel who's wearing the same exact outfit, the red polyester shirt, the dark pants, the jacket. It's great. It's great. That made me laugh.
That was good comedy.
So, yeah, these are vamp groupies, people who are very interested in vampires. And Angel's starting to put it together. This is.
Yeah, it's like a cult. They want to be turned.
Yeah, it's not where we should be. So we go to the library where Buffy's leading in Ginny and Giles from their date.
She beeped them.
She beeped them on the BB thing. And we found out, where did Ginny take Giles for this surprise date?
Poor Giles.
Oh, God.
This is like my nightmare. And I've actually been to one of these as a kid, and it was a nightmare. I took him to a monster truck rally.
No. I don't have any desire to go see monster trucks.
Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we got tickets.
No, we don't. Yeah, that sounds like I'm Giles in this scenario.
Oh, yeah.
It's not.
No offense to our monster truck
absolutely
attenders.
Yes, love what you love. It's not for me.
It's not his cup of tea.
So Jenny's like, hey, we could have just left. And he goes, oh, and missed the nitro burning funny cause. No, couldn't have had that. Yeah. He's such a little diva sometimes. I love it. Not a diva. We, again, like what you like. I do not like F1 racing or like MotoGP, the motorcycle stuff. My husband loves it. We live close to an F1 track. I've been a few times, and the last time I said, I don't need to do this anymore. That can be your thing, and I love it for you. Yeah. I don't like it. Anyway. So,
it surprises me that this is Jenny Calendar's thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it is. I think she's just looking for something to do for them to go on a date that was outside the box.
Which I can appreciate.
Good for them.
I can, yeah. I would buy it more if she took him to like a punk rock show or something,
Sure.
But monster trucks, so loud. It's probably hot and sweaty wherever they do monster trucks.
She likes sporting events.
But I bet you could get some mozzarella sticks. Okay, sorry. Anyway, guys.
You can get the nacho.
The Rico's cheese.
With the Rico's cheese.
Yeah. So they're
in the library
researching, and Buffy's flipping through a book, and she sees a picture, a photo.
A photo. Who's the photo?
Drusilla, which I have questions about because I guess she was turned. It doesn't matter. There's a photo. I was going to say, how did they have a photo of her? Can vampires, I guess this confirms actually, vampires, while they don't have a mirror reflection, they can be captured in photographic image.
Do you think perhaps this was an image of her before she was turned?
I don't think cameras existed then. Okay, hold on. Production. Yes. Okay. So according to production, Drusilla was turned in 1860, and photographs were around by then, portraits. So we don't know if this is before she was turned, after she was turned, but we do know that vampires can be photographed. So Buffy sees that and she goes, oh, who's this?
Giles says, this is Drusilla.
Thank you.
A sometimes paramour of Spike's.
I love the word paramour, by the way. It's a great word.
I looked up, I tried to buy a shirt today.
That
just said paramour.
I love that. Paramour. Okay. And
taking applications. Okay.
All right. And Giles says that she was killed by a mob in Prague. And Buffy says, well, they don't make angry mobs like they used to, because I saw her talking with Angel in the playground the other night. And then all of a sudden.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. No,
I just had to process that comment that she made. It's like Buffy reaching.
Yeah. Playboy bunny vampire runs out of Giles's office with a book.
Just runs out, tackles Giles and Buffy, jumps over Miss Calendar and out the door.
With a book. She's gone.
She stole a library book.
Criminal. Get out.
Killer.
I noted that they refer to the vampire as it. And they don't really do that, but Buffy says, it got away. And Giles said, it took one of my books. It's just it really stood out because they never really refer to them as it's before.
How forward?
I don't think it's forward. I think they're making them non-human. It's not about gender. I think it's a demon thing, unfortunately.
However you want to unpack it.
That's how I took it. I would prefer it to be the way you're saying. I don't think Buffy and Giles were trying to be gender inclusive or whatever. We cut to Spike and Drusilla. Spike's finally in this episode.
Yeah, this is great. And he looks good.
He looks great.
He looks like the Spike that we're going to see moving forward. He doesn't look kind of like the new character introduction. They're trying to figure it out.
He's settled in a little bit more. Yeah. Drusilla's talking to a dead bird in a cage. She's trying to get it to sing.
What is wrong with her? We're going to find out.
He needs industrial strength therapy.
Yeah, we are going to find out. And
What your childhood trauma would have worked with her too.
fuck. Yeah. Anyway, do we have,
Okay.
we don't have that as a button. I need to put it. Do we?
God, what is your childhood trauma?
Transition. Therapy. I don't know if I could get a good one.
Oh, we had it.
Nope.
Okay, interesting.
Need to add it. Okay. So Spike shows up and he says, "Darling, dearest Drusilla."
Still has a bit of a draw.
He does. It's been many days.
But then he gets into his little Cockney accent.
By the end of this scene,
By the end of it,
it's just this darling.
I think it's just
He's trying to figure it out. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, old Lucius, my minion, told me you went out the other night." And he's like, "What's up? You saw Angel, didn't you?" And she's
focused on this dead bird. He's like, it's dead.
Drew, it's
You
dead.
killed it. You didn't
Just like
feed
the
it.
last one. And he's like, "What'd you guys talk about? Old times, childhood pranks." He's jealous. So we have jealous Angel in the earlier part of
Okay.
the episode
All right.
with Ford. Well, that's how I'm reading it, because he's like, "What'd you do? What did you talk about?" Line, I need this information. There's an edge to these questions. So we're starting to see Angel and Drusilla know each other, have some kind of history. We know Spike and Angel know each other.
Sure. Yeah. So Spike's probably like, what'd y'all talk about?
What's going on? And when he said he gets frustrated with her and tells her, the bird's dead, just like the last one. And she starts to cry. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a bad, rude man."
Mm-hmm. Sticks his thumb in her mouth.
Hot.
It's hot.
It's hot. And then Ford shows up and he's like, do I have anyone on watch here?
Ford's like, look at this place. This is great.
This is great. Spike's like, "What the fuck are the minions?
Yeah.
Are you guys sleeping?" I love how Spike treats Ford. He doesn't fucking care. Ford is trying to be kind of tough and like whatever. And he goes, "I know who you are." Spike says, "Yeah, I know who I am too. So what?" Doesn't care.
Love it.
And, the Playboy Bunny vamp comes in, gives Spike the book, and he goes, "Oh, this is great. This will be very useful." We don't find out this episode, spoiler alert. He's just kind of dismissive of Ford. He's like, "How'd you find me?" He wants to just kill him. And Drusilla's like, "Wait." Because Ford basically says, "I want you to turn me."
Yeah.
Spike's like,
I didn't like you when you walked in here, and I don't like you now.
"I don't want to spend eternity with you as a vampire." He says, "I can give you the Slayer."
Mm.
Says, I'll trade. You
Okay.
turn me,
Yeah.
I'll give you the Slayer."
Spike's willing to bargain for that.
He absolutely is. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, my note again, Spike is hot.
Yeah. And the chemistry with Drusilla is hot.
Hot.
I love her as a character.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take that back. I love aspects of her character.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like the mopey, whiny, whimsical, very childlike
Yeah.
energy that she puts off.
I think sometimes they overdo it.
Sometimes they really overdo it.
Yes.
There can be a moment between these two where it's almost kind of like play sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for that. Where she's
Excuse me.
kind of like, "Oh, take me." But
Yeah.
some of these things where she's like singing lullabies and talking to dead birds, it's disturbing.
It is.
What is wrong with her?
Well, we find out what's wrong with
I
her.
know,
She was
yeah.
psychologically broken. But I think sometimes they overdo it. And not to Juliet Landau. I think she's great. I think
No.
it's the script.
I think it's the
Sometimes they
script.
really are. We got to really hammer in how, loopy doopy
Yeah.
Drusilla is. But
Yeah, they got to hit you over the head with it.
yes. And sometimes we understand.
Sure.
She talks to her dolls. She's talking to dead birds. Missy Edith needs her tea.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So we go to Buffy's house. Buffy, I love her outfit here. She's got like
I love this outfit.
A sweater.
This is my Buffy sleigh.
Yeah, she looks so good. Sweater with like the spaghetti straps showing. And the
Mhm.
sweater's like almost off the shoulder. It's
It
like
is off her shoulders. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect
right
placement.
there. Yeah. Unlike this pinned sweater from the first episode.
We're not letting that one go.
No, we're not. And Angel asks if he can come in.
Yeah, Angel's at the back door.
Yeah.
And
Good Lord.
Uh-huh. And she says, you've been invited. You can come in anytime you want.
And this is where
Good Lord.
this is where Jenny's fanfic begins.
So he says, I know that. I was just being polite, which is nice.
It is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this angel right now.
I do like this angel.
This is a really good scene. Jenny, how do you feel about a little black box theater?
Darling, let's do it. On today's edition of Vampire Black Box Theater, the role of Angel will be played by Ryan Something, and the role of Buffy will be played by me. Scene.
The kitchen at the Summers house. Buffy is nursing a cup of coffee and Angel slowly pushes the door open. Buffy, may I come in?
Sure. I thought once you were invited, you could always just walk in.
I can. I was just being polite. We need to talk.
Do we?
It's about your friend Ford. He's not what he seems.
Who is these days?
Willow ran him down on the computer.
Willow?
We found this address. We checked it out with Xander, and it turns out...
And Xander? Everybody's in. It's like a great, big, exciting conspiracy.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the people I trust. Who's Drusilla? And don't lie to me. I'm tired of it.
Some lies are necessary.
For what?
Sometimes the truth is worse. You live long enough, you find that out.
I can take it. I can take the truth.
Do you love me?
What?
Do you?
I love you. I don't know if I trust you.
Maybe you shouldn't do either.
Fucking drama queen. Maybe I'm the one who should decide.
I did a lot of unconscionable things when I became a vampire. Drusilla was the worst. She was an obsession of mine. She was pure, sweet, and chaste.
And you made her a vampire.
First, I made her insane. Killed everyone she loved. Visited every mental torture on her I could devise. She eventually fled to a convent. And on the day she took her holy orders, I turned her into a demon.
Well, I asked for the truth.
Ford's part of some society that reveres vampires. Practically worships them. I don't know what he wants from you, but you can't trust him.
Scene.
See.
Oof.
Okay, this is a nice little scene between the two of them. Very well written.
It is.
It's interesting that that Buffy's like, hey, don't lie to me.
Right.
Okay. It's like some lies are necessary, which we're going to hear that kind of come back around, that whole theme toward the very end, the last scene.
Yeah.
And Buffy's like, I can take it. I can handle the truth. And he immediately hits her with the question that he wants a truthful answer to.
Yeah.
Jumps over her question
about
Drusilla and immediately goes to, do you love me?
Yeah. So if she would have said no, was he not going to answer her question, you think?
No, I think he was just trying to like hit her while the iron was hot.
Oh, because we're talking about truth here.
You
give me truth
here.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, I can take it. And he just immediately like, wham.
Do you love me?
Do you love me?
We all noticed that he didn't say he loved her.
What? Do you love me?
Ooh, what's that from again?
Do I love
Was that from Fiddler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great. The husband and the wife. After 25 years,
Golda.
I've washed your clothes.
Yeah.
Cleaned your house.
So
anyway, it's so good.
Yeah. I do love this scene. Like I said, I joked. Like Angel is very dramatic when he says, maybe you shouldn't do either. And he's like getting ready to stomp out. Yeah. He doesn't though. But yeah, I mean, this Angel, as we know, has a soul and he has to live with the things that he's done. And you can tell it's painful for him to talk about Drusilla and what he did to her. And I think this is, I mean, the Drusilla that we get and see is a result of somebody who was psychologically broken. Mm-hmm. And when they were turned, it's interesting. And I would want to know, same thing with Ford. You know, he thinks he's going to be an immortal. But it seems like when you turn, you might not you're not totally becoming new,
Right.
which we'll get into,
Which Buffy explains to him later in the episode.
but it contradicts because she's like, you're not you. A demon takes over your
Right.
body, but
Mhm.
wibbly wobbly there.
Yeah.
I'm not, as everyone knows, I'm not a Bangle person necessarily, because I do think Angel sometimes makes choices for Buffy, and she calls it out. She's like, why don't you let me decide?
Mhm.
I don't like that, but this was a great scene.
It's a
Really
great
liked
scene.
it.
I mean, you're getting to see kind of the heart of Angel,
Yeah.
and that, like as you pointed out, he has a soul. He is remorseful for what he did to Drusilla. At least that's the impression that I'm getting from him.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to talk about it. I think it kind of like, it is what it is. He's like, I did what I did.
Can't change it.
Can't change it. I did some bad things, but at least he is being truthful with her.
Yeah.
He's talking about it, even though he's uncomfortable in talking about it, and he's fessing up. And I think that there is some remorse, but he's like, hey, that's not the topic at hand here.
Right. Yeah.
We need to focus on your buddy Ford. Something's up there.
Something is up.
Yeah. But good for him for coming clean about Drusilla. Hopefully that gives Buffy a little bit of, kind of a weight off her shoulders that I don't have anything to worry about with this chick, or maybe she does. Who knows?
Who knows? But it was great. Communication. We always talk about communication. This is them communicating. So we go to the high school, which this set does not look like Sunnydale High School. It almost looks like they're at a community college or something.
This is like a reshoot or something.
We could be wrong. Who knows? But it just seems weird. Ford comes up to Buffy, and she's very distant and aloof. And he asks her out. He's like, you want to go out tonight? She's like, I don't have any plans. Meet here, 9:00. She's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's just going to go with it.
Yeah.
See what's up his sleeve.
See what's up. And then she's in the hallway. She passes Willow and Xander on the stairs. And they're all kind of like, did you find out what Ford's up to? They're kind of looking at Buffy like, oh, we're sorry. It's just kind of uncomfortable. And she's like, Buffy, when Angel came to my room, he wanted me to help. We didn't want to say anything until we knew for sure. Buffy's like, okay, whatever. She walks off, and Xander goes, Angel was in your room?
Ours is a forbidden love.
Come on, Willow.
Love it.
So good.
She's just straight there with it.
Yeah. And we cut.
And that drives Xander crazy.
He was just stewing.
He's like, wait.
But you're supposed to love me.
I have a forbidden love with Angel.
Yeah. Wait a second. Angel's never come to my bedroom. Never knocked on my back door.
Good Lord.
Okay.
So we cut to the Sunset Club. Ford is pouring some wine because these are high school kids drinking red wine.
In the middle of the day.
And why are no one's concerned that all of these children are not in school?
There's probably a lot of missing kids in Sunnydale, so they don't know who's alive. They don't know who's underground drinking wine in the daytime.
They don't know.
Whatever.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
And Buffy shows up because, Ford, they're talking. It's all going to go according to plan. They're going to be here. And Buffy's like, it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that. She wasn't. And I think she quips like, what can I say? I didn't want to wait. That was smart. She's like, I'm not fucking wait. We're going to handle this
smart
now.
She's not always that quick.
No. And, she basically quips, I'm rash and impulsive. Yeah. It's a flaw.
I like this scene because it's kind of like a one up.
Yeah.
So they're drinking wine. They're making these plans. She shows up.
Yeah.
She's like, haha, got you.
Gotcha.
And then they're like, haha, we got you. It was a trap.
It was. Ford says to Diego, he's like, hey, it's a little drafty in here.
Marv.
Yeah. Marv and his cape swish away. And while Buffy and Ford are kind of having a tete-a-tete, Marvin, a.k.a. Diego, shuts the door to the bunker that can only be opened from the outside.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Buffy and Ford kind of walk off, and they're getting into it. She's like, hey, vampires are picky about who they change. And she's like, they're all going to die, aren't they? And he's like, sucks to be them. They're going to change me, and everybody else is going to get killed.
Yeah.
And then how did she figure out? Because she then says, you were going to trade, weren't you? You were going to trade me.
Yeah. Well, when they locked the door and realized it was a trap.
Okay. Because I was like, how did she figure that out? And the Buffy's realized that they've locked the door. They're locked in. because they say the door's shut, you can only open it from the outside. And she's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Chanterelle, who this is my sleigh. She's got the choker, the red dress. Her hair is straight, but she's got these like specific spiral curls in it.
Yeah.
Slay all day, Chanterelle.
Got a big choker on too.
It's like a Victorian cameo kind of style. Yeah. And
not for long.
Diego's like, it's our chance for immortality. Chanterelle's like, it's a beautiful day to be turned or whatever. And Diego looks at Ford and talks about Buffy. He's like, she's an unbeliever. She taints us. And Buffy says, I'm trying to save you. You're playing in some serious traffic here. Do you understand that? You're going to die. And the only hope you have of surviving this is to get out of this pit right now. And my God, could you have a dorkier outfit?
It's pretty dorky. Yeah.
Look, I love people who cosplay. I want to cosplay at some point. Diego's sparkly cape and pirate shirt, it ain't it. It's dorky.
No, it looks like a magician's outfit from like the early 90s that you get at like a kid's store.
Diego's too cool of a name for him as a vampire.
Yeah, no, his name's Marv.
He's Marv.
Yeah.
So cut to Drusilla and Spike, and they're getting the vamps ready to go to the bunker. And Drusilla, Spike asks Drusilla, are you sure you're up for this? And she says, I want a treat. I need a treat. Which is okay. Why did we need this scene? And then it's so weird because then you have they have a shot of Spike holding keys in front of the camera, and he says, Lucius, bring the car around. I'm like, what are Lucius. We doing? What are we doing? I don't know.
Do we ever meet Lucius?
We don't meet Lucius, and I think it's a shame.
Okay.
And
maybe that's my name.
That's your vampire name? Lucius McTavish? Okay.
Luscious Lucius.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow, we got it. So we go back to the Sunset Club, and this is important, okay? Because what we were talking about earlier about how we have seen a vampire, Drusilla, who was psychologically broken before she was turned. That is important to note. Angel says he tortured her, killed her whole family, psychologically broke her. And now that she's been turned, she's not fully present all the time.
No.
Maybe she has prophetic visions. We don't know, but she's talking to dead birds. She's talking to her dolls. She is somebody who's probably
she's snapped. Yeah.
She is snapped. Yes.
Yeah. Before she was turned, he just absolutely did a mind fuck on her.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we're stuck with this individual who
is broken,
perpetually broken, mentally.
Yeah.
Broken.
Yeah. And so, Buffy's talking to Ford, and she's like, hey, these people aren't going to get changed like you. They're going to be fodder. And he's like, technically, yes, but I'm in. I will become immortal.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He only cares about himself.
No. And she said, that's not how it works. You die, and a demon sets up shop in your old house, and it walks and it talks and it remembers your life, but it's not you.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is true and how much that is Buffy trying to scare him off of this plan.
I feel like the show can't make up their mind with that. Like, how much of you is still you after you're changed?
I think that's the ongoing question of the show. And I think it's kind of an ongoing theme and question for people. Little life lesson, as you grow, as you change, as you become
a vampire,
a different individual as an adult. How much of you is still there?
Ah, interesting.
Perhaps.
Well, so Buffy's like she's trying to figure out how to open the doors because she's trying to save everybody. And we finally figure out what's going on with Ford. He's got cancer. He's got tumors in his brain, and he's sick. He's going to die. And he's like, I want to be turned so I don't die.
Yeah.
And sick and bald and just, shriveled up. And he's like, these other people want to be vampires because they're bored or lonely or miserable. And she's like, I'm sorry for what's happened to you, but that doesn't make this right.
No.
And she's getting ready to warn everybody. She's like, hey, but before she can do it, he fucking kicks her down the stairs. It's aggressive.
Not cool.
Not cool.
He's not the nicest guy, but it does pose a question, which is, if you had a terminal illness, would you want to be turned? Would
into
you
a
turn
vampire?
to vampires? Now, here's what I like about some of the true blood aspect
It's okay.
of the vampire and the vampire blood,
The healing
which
factor.
is the healing factor of it all.
Yeah.
Where you can ingest it, you can take of it, if you will, drink of the cup, and not be turned.
Yeah.
And it can heal you.
Right.
So is this an option in the Buffyverse?
So there's no...
Blood is the life. You know, that was like always the Bram Stoker thing.
No, in Buffy, there's nothing about vampire blood being intoxicating or healing or addictive. Like in True Blood, people get addicted to V.
Right.
Oh, we've got to do some kind of True Blood episode at some point. It's okay. No, I don't think that's why I wonder if you are in the Buffy world, if your body is ill, does it heal when you are turned? We don't know if Ford's idea will even work.
You didn't answer my question.
Oh, would I? Look, honestly, probably.
Yeah.
If I knew I wasn't going to die. Now I would want to take precautions and make sure my family was away from me so I didn't attack and kill everybody.
Yeah, okay, that was my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Would you take precautions and never see your family again?
Yeah.
Or would you bring your family along for the ride?
Honestly, ideally, I would want to have a witch who could put my soul back in my body the moment I was turned. So I would be a vampire and live forever, but I'd have my soul like Angel. So I wouldn't be doing bad stuff.
So you're looking for a Romani.
Yes.
Okay.
Or just any kind of witch. Maybe a witch could do it. Maybe we'll find out if witches can do this. Stay tuned. Okay. So before Buffy can like get up and start warning people, Ford's beeper goes off.
Yeah.
It's time. Spike busts up in there.
Hold on. Because this is my favorite part of this episode.
Oh, okay.
There's one moment, and it's nothing that you see, but it is a sound effect that you hear. And it is the screeching of the tires of Spike's car.
Shut up, really?
When they pull up. You can hear them pull up. It's, you know how he like always blazes in?
Yeah.
You hear it. And it's so great because you're like, oh, Spike's here.
Spike's here. And he comes in and Chanterelle walks up. She's like, welcome. And he growls at her and bites her. Then everybody starts attacking. This is the first time we've seen like an en masse.
He rips the choker off of her first.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We've seen vampires fighting with people, but we've not seen like a mass bite attack.
Right.
Like they're going to kill all these people.
A buffet.
Hey. And
I have to say, Spike's makeup in this scene. Say what you will about Angel's makeup this
he looks
entire
great.
episode. This vamp makeup
is great.
In this scene, on this episode, in this season, is peak.
Love it.
Vampire makeup. It's perfect.
I love this vampire makeup. Yeah. And there's kind of some it's chaos. Drusilla's cowering up on the catwalk corner. Buffy
goes straight for her.
Straight for her. Again, smart move.
Yeah.
She puts a stake to her heart and basically yells at Spike, hey,
call off your dogs
or your girlfriend's going to fit in an ashtray. And he immediately is like, stop.
Yeah.
You let everybody go.
Don't fuck with Drew.
He's not. And everybody files out. All the people like Chanterelle's holding her neck. I mean, they get out and Buffy.
I'm surprised she didn't die because he went after her. I mean, he latched hold of that fucking neck. I thought she was a
goner too. So they get out and Buffy tells them go down the stairs.
And she'd make a good vampire.
She would.
Okay.
And Spike goes down the stairs. Buffy throws Drusilla at him.
Why not Duster?
They're Magneto.
Right, so see what you did.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our last episode where we review Halloween, I make a point that Spike is the Magneto of Buffy. And if you don't understand that reference, go watch our episode of Unhinged where we talk about X-Men 97. Ding.
And if you don't understand that, go watch X-Men 97.
Yes.
And make sure you like and follow and subscribe. And Marvel, just know we send people. To your content.
Give us that Marvel money. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, Magneto in the X-Men universe, they should have killed him over and over and they don't. And that's what's happening here. Buffy should have absolutely.
At least Drusilla. No answers, no questions. You don't need to know anything about her. You don't need a background story from her. You don't need to get to know her because she was done dirty by Angel. Duster.
Honestly, what she should have done is used her as leverage like she did to get everybody out because she would have dusted her immediately. It would have been chaos. Yeah. The moment everyone's out, then Buffy runs out. But no. Buffy has to honor her word.
Yeah, so that was my question.
Yeah.
Buffy's got to honor her word.
They're the murderous vampires.
Wait, but I don't understand. You're the slayer.
Slay. All day.
It is your job.
Yeah.
To slay all day.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand her letting Angel off because he has a soul.
He has a soul.
She's discovered that about him.
Yeah.
But even when she first met Angel, she had multiple times that she could have dusted him and did not.
Well, he's hot.
Okay,
so the hot guy.
So Buffy's picking and choosing which vamps she will slay.
So it would seem.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's her choice.
Buffy locks them in and left
Contains
Ford
them.
there. Oh yeah, she said they're gonna get out. How are they gonna get out?
She walks on the street. She's like, "Don't worry, folks. They're contained.
But we need to get out.
We should probably go because we'll come back when they're gone.
Yeah.
Why not dispense with them?
She could just wait for Spike and Drusilla to come out and stake the shit out of them, but she's not going to.
Or be like, hey guys, could use a couple more stakes. Any holy water and crosses you got? I'll be right back.
Lit.
Angel, guard the door or get my back. Everyone else, get ready in case they come running out.
You know what you could do? They could rig up a cauldron full of holy water, hang it above the door, and when they start coming out, just
the old holy water above the door prank.
Works every time.
Or they could wait until daytime and then open the door, maybe take a few mirrors in with them and just blast them. Anyway, she has options.
She has options.
And she doesn't take them.
She doesn't. I guess it's the next day, or I don't know when she goes back to retrieve. This is another thing. Okay, she goes back to the Sunset Club to get Ford's body.
And the door has been ripped away from its hinges.
Yes.
The door that can only open from the outside.
Point of order. They would have taken, if Spike was a smart vampire, which he seems to be, they would have taken Ford's body with them to use as bait because they would have figured Buffy was coming back for it.
Okay.
Also, another point of order. It is canon that when you turn a vampire, you have to bury them. They turned him, as we see at the end. They were just going to leave him there. So can you just turn a vampire and leave them all willy-nilly? I thought part of the magic was you have to be buried underground.
He was buried.
But they didn't bury him.
Oh, the vamp has to bury you?
Yes, it's like a whole process.
Or just anyone be buried?
No, it's supposed to be they drink your blood, you drink their blood, they put you in the ground, and then you have to come back out.
Your family can't put you in the ground.
Well,
evidently they can.
Evidently they can. So, yeah, they go back. She goes back and then sees Ford's dead body in the Sunset Club. And we cut to Buffy and Giles in the cemetery.
She left her enemies and she left her friend.
She did.
To die.
She did. Well, I mean, look, he was going to let all those people get massacred. So,
okay. If you're the type of person who's like, well, I gave you my word, so I'm going to let Drusilla go. You're probably the type of person who, even though someone is a horrible human being, you're probably not going to leave him to die.
You think.
But maybe she did him a favor.
Again, she's letting Spike and Drusilla live.
Got questions.
But Ford, nah. Gotta go. Where's the line?
He's immortal.
He's a human. You're right. Who messed up? Spike, they know, has tortured and killed people for 100 years. Is it because Spike's hot and Ford's wearing that stupid cream sweater vest?
I don't know. Buffy's got some discretion. She's using it.
Okay. So Buffy and Giles are at the cemetery. There's a gravestone for Ford, which, I know this doesn't matter, but he's from LA. Why is he buried in Sunnydale?
He's transferred, remember?
Like, what is... Okay. Doesn't matter. And her and Giles are just talking about, it's kind of sad. What?
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. And Ford hops up. She stakes him. And she asks Giles, does it ever get easy? Giles says, you mean life? She goes, yeah, does it get easy? Giles says, what do you want me to say? She says, lie to me.
Lie to me.
He says, yes, it's terribly simple. The good guys are always stalwart and true. The bad guys are easily distinguished by their pointy horns or black hats. And we always defeat them and save the day. No one ever dies, and everybody lives happily ever after. What does Buffy say to that?
Liar.
And that's the end of the episode.
That was it. Okay.
We did
Jenny,
it. That
you
was
did it.
Lie to Me.
Can I get your fashion slayer nays?
You absolutely can.
Should we
So,
do a little segment?
should we?
Yeah.
Do we like the jingle or we just talk about it? We can just talk about it because I'm not married to the jingle.
If you're not married to the jingle, then we can just talk about it.
Okay. We're in the process of updating some of our podcast jingles. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, okay. My fashion slay, Chanterelle's vampire outfit with the cameo choker,
Loved it.
the long
Yeah.
red dress, the hair, the makeup. Loved it. And then my other slay is Willow's jammies. She's wearing a long baseball style t-shirt, fluffy slippers.
Super comfy.
She just looks so comfy and cute. My nay is gonna come into shock as no one. Ford's orange sweater vest. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Had no business being on that actor. It's terrible color.
Yeah.
It didn't match anything else he was wearing. Bad.
They had him in a lot of oversized button-up shirts, collared shirts, and blue jeans, which it was a style trend in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very on point for men or young men of that age to be wearing that. But that sweater vest, I don't know where he was coming with that.
It's not good. What are your fashion slays and nays?
My fashion slays and nays. Okay. Xander had pretty good fashion slay throughout most of the episode.
His red.
I had no notes on pretty much anything that Xander wore this episode.
He did look really good.
The red jersey that we mentioned earlier in the episode. Willow has a green sweater and green tights under a skirt outfit that she has in the classroom scene when she's passing notes.
Yeah.
That slays.
She looks great. Willow
She
looks
looks
so good in
great.
green. She always looks good in
Green
green.
is her color. When she had the weird multi-print monster shirt on at the Bronze, noticed that they had Ford wearing the green sweater. So it's like they had one character in green. They couldn't have her in green.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
But green's
Okay.
her color. And my big fashion slay for this episode
Yeah, I know.
is Buffy in the cream sweater top that's off the shoulders with the spaghetti strap camisole
So
that she
cute.
has on, and she's sitting in her kitchen. It just looks super comfortable. I mean,
But fashionable.
fashionable. You walk in there and you're like, okay, yeah, you're Joyce's daughter. Like that's a very Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like outfit, maybe at the same age.
Maybe it came from Joyce's closet.
She might have taken it from her mom, which could work.
Good.
Okay, my fashion nays.
What you got?
We already talked about Billy Ford's stupid sweater vest. Giles there's an episode, there is a scene where he's walking down the hall with Buffy and he has the widest tie.
Oh, even I
have
noticed that.
seen
I was like, why is that
in
tie
years.
so
I'm
big?
like, sir, that is a runway. Like, what's going on over there? It's giving me Donald Trump vibes, and I'm not on it.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah. It's not good. Just give the man his tweed.
Yeah.
Give him a little, like, no. They're kind of experimenting with Giles right now, and I don't like it.
White ties were a thing back in the day. Like, I totally understand it. I had a number of wide ties as a teenager that I inherited from a number of different men that would leave me their fashion stuff. But when you have a vest over it, you don't really notice it. And usually he's wearing a 3-piece suit, so you don't really notice these ties. But this tie was extra wide. But
yeah,
it's a fashion thing. Ties since then have gone very skinny. You know, they've gone kind of to the mod.
Yeah,
the retro, kind of Italian, sleek.
I like it.
Slender, slim suits and slim ties. But anyway, those are my fashion slays and nays.
Oh, love it.
Cheers. Okay.
Ryan.
Yeah.
What's your steak rating for Lie to Me?
I think this is a solid 4.
Okay. I love that.
This is a 4.
Okay.
I liked it. I didn't like every aspect of this episode, but it was entertaining for kind of a not a campy monster of the week.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed.
I did too.
So I really like the trio of Xander, Willow, and Angel working together.
Yeah.
I like that Buffy is in this phase where she's still learning to trust people, but at the same time also processing the truth.
Yeah.
Which Sarah Michelle Gellar just does a stellar job of conveying that.
I agree.
That push and pull of her emotions throughout this entire episode. We get Spike and Drusilla. We get Angel. We get Giles. We get the return of Miss Jenny Calendar. I love the line where he's like, "I'm in your hands," and she says, "That sounds fun."
Oh yeah,
love that.
Spicy.
Love the chemistry between those two. I love how forward she is with him.
Yeah,
and I love Spike and Drusilla and their scenes. So yeah, this was a solid 4 for me. Love the episode.
Yeah, I originally gave it a 3.5, but really and this always happens when we start talking about it. I gave Halloween a 4, and I still maintain that because I really enjoyed that episode, but I also really enjoyed this one. Mm-hmm. This does more for the lore of Buffy, for the lore of vampires in this universe, and the themes of, growing up and grappling with the fact that you don't want to be lied to. But at the end, when she's like, lie to me, I don't want to hear all the, because the truth is, it's usually
life is hard enough.
It's hard enough. And as someone with small children, you see how easy it can be to lie to protect people that you love.
Right.
But you can't at the end of the day with some things because it's more damaging. And Angel, says what does he say about the line about lies? He kind of says, well, some things are worth lying about. Yes. And I mean, it's just it's an interesting conversation around truth and lies and protecting people and withholding information that may hurt somebody, but it also with Angel and Drusilla, but then the fact that you're withholding it is more hurtful than what the actual information is. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this a 4 as well. It's a great episode. Season 2, they're starting to hit their stride. And like you mentioned, this is a good monster, quote unquote, of the week, because while Spike and Drusilla have been in the season, Ford is technically the bad guy, but it made sense.
Right.
This is a good monster of the week, not, reptile bull, all that kind of stuff. It's good writing.
Life can be just as scary as any monster can be. And I think that's kind of what they're conveying here. Mm-hmm. And how much of it do you want to consume?
So we will have a brief spoiler section after the outro music. And if you liked what you heard, be sure to follow, rate, and review on your preferred streaming service. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps the algorithm. You just click the little like button. Super easy. Takes 2 seconds. Really appreciate it. And to stay up to date with our latest episode drops and additional fun content, please follow us on social media. We're so fun. Look at these faces. Barrel of laughs over here. And we are on @OnceMorePodcast on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and Threads. We are on X @TheOnceMorePod.
Once More is produced by us, Jen Katz and Ryan Something, and our original cover art is by Dr. Courtney McKenzie.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for tuning in to Once More. We'll see you next Friday for episode 8 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 2, The Dark Age. And we're going to see. It's going to be exciting.
This one looks exciting.
It's, I don't want to spoil anything, but we're going to see the return of somebody, and I'm very excited about that. Anyway.
Be sure to check out our latest episodes of Once More Unhinged on Wednesdays.
I'm Jen Katz.
And I'm Ryan Something.
And remember, die young, stay pretty. Bye. Spoilers. Okay. One of the fun things about this episode is meeting Chanterelle.
I love that name.
Who we will meet again in season 3, episode 1, Anne.
Is she a vampire?
She's not. But she's in an abusive relationship.
Oh.
And she gets caught up in a cult.
Oh, another one?
Another one.
This poor girl, bless her heart.
So in that episode, Buffy is living in LA. She's working at a diner, going by her middle name of Anne. Because after she kills Angel at the end of the season, she gets on a bus and goes to LA.
What else are you going to do as a teenager?
Am I right?
Drop out of school, leave your mom and friends behind, and move back to LA.
Oh, when we get to Joyce, I'm going to have words with Madam Joyce Summers. You better believe it. So she meets Chanterelle in LA. Chanterelle's part of this cult, which turns out to be a demon cult where they take these young people and they go underground to be workers at a demon factory. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Long story long, Buffy defeats the demons both internally and externally.
As she does.
She decides to go back to Sunnydale. Chanterelle decides to take Buffy's name as she goes by Anne. Then we meet her in Angel, where she is working with unhoused people, at-risk youth.
Okay, so she does turn her life around.
She does turn her life around.
Wow.
She becomes a
after some very bad decision making.
Yeah.
Multiple bad decisions.
Multiple times.
Vampires, demons.
She runs into Angel when Angel's got his own show and doing his thing.
She run into him or does he run into her?
God, I've only seen Angel the series once through. It's a rough watch in a lot of ways. I think.
I mean, she kind of looks like Buffy. Maybe he's got like a little thing for
no.
her.
So Gunn, who joins Angel's crew, Gunn knows Anne because he works with kids who work with Anne. They're all connected. Anyway, so the other.
Sounds like quite the storyline for this peripheral character that just got.
Yeah, it's very, when she pops up, you're like, wait a second, that's Chanterelle.
She's great. She's got a really distinctive look. I think she'd make a great vampire.
She would.
She seems like the kind that was like the one that was running around stealing the book from the library.
Yeah. Come on.
What happened to her? Was she ghosted?
Maybe. No.
Was she dusted?
No, she gets left in the bunker with the vampires at the end. So I'm assuming
So she leaves with Spike and Drew.
Yeah. So speaking of Spike and Drew, that's the other spoiler. We learn that Angel and Drusilla know each other.
Yes, we do. And there's quite the storyline between the two, as well as Mr. Spike.
Yeah. So
Spike have a last name?
In his real life, his name was, before he was turned, he was William Pratt.
Okay.
Yeah. And we learned that Angel sired Drusilla, and then Drusilla will sire Spike. Darla sired Angel. So the four of them all hung out, fucking each other.
Darla, Angel, Drusilla, Spike is the lineage.
That's the lineage.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
they're all having sex.
Yes.
Back in the day, not anymore.
No, and Angel used to torture Spike by having sex with Drusilla in front of him.
Love it.
And it gets dark. The stuff that comes out about those four.
That kind of dark stuff is
dark.
It's fun to get into.
Yeah. So it was just kind of you seeing what's going to come next, where when Angel turns, he and Drusilla, it's heavily implied that they're fucking, and Spike's in a wheelchair. It's just so.
What?
Yeah, Spike.
When?
At the end of the season, he's in a wheelchair.
The end of this season?
No, I'm actually mid through the season.
I'm sorry.
A church organ falls on him and he shatters his spine. But then he fakes it and he's just in the chair for a while, just fucking around. You don't remember this?
I remember him being incapacitated
he's in a
for
wheelchair.
some reason, but I thought that was along the lines of next season when old, what's his name with the underground Air Force.
Riley, that's a season. That's two seasons from now.
Stuck in like.
He gets chipped.
He gets chipped.
Yeah.
He has to stay over at Giles' house, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Everyone
I can't wait to get to that.
He's having the worst time, but also having the best time of his life.
Having the best time. Yeah. I love Buffy. She's like, oh, look, my neck is so exposed. Oh, okay.
When they think they're married.
Yeah.
So
Something Blue. I love that episode. So, yeah, just another spoiler. Learning Spike and Angel and Drew's history. It's
intertwined, and we'll find out more as the seasons go on. Jenny's trying not to spoil anything past season 5.
Correct.
For me.
We will learn more. Yeah.
It sounds like there's more to the story that is undercover.
Could be.
For now.
Could be.
That will be exposed later.
Could be.
Okay.
And also, we're going to see Ethan Rayne again next week. Bye.
Are we?
Yes. The Dark Age.
He's back for some more Ripper.
This is where we learn more about the when they were in the magic cult and they were doing all kinds of squirrely stuff. Ethan Rayne couldn't stay away.
Does Jenny Calendar have a little competition?
I think so.
Okay.
I think Giles, I mean, as we stated, I think Ethan has blown Giles' trumpet last episode. Well, I think Giles might want him to do it again.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Hey, we'll see. We'll find out next week.
Little.
No. Gotta go.